the scourging, and the crown of thorns. The hardcore now clamoring for his death consists of his sworn enemies and the easily swayed, thoughtless common people. His many friends and followers are either unaware of his arrest or dare not show themselves, fearing they might also be arrested. Pilate wanted to make one last appeal to their compassion. He was afraid to go against the loud cries of the misguided crowd, who were irrationally shouting for the blood of Jesus. He ordered some Roman soldiers to take Jesus to the courtyard of the fortress to have him scourged there. His enemies could not witness the scourging, but Pilate himself was present. Before the scourgers finished this malicious torture, he told them to stop and bring Jesus back to him. The Roman soldiers made a game of it, first dressing Jesus as a king by putting on him the old purple robe of Herod. Then one of them made a crown of twigs full of short thorns. This crown of thorns was placed on his head. Then they bound him, and 4 men began to beat him with whips that had many knots in them. After they had severely flogged him, they gave him a reed in his hand as a scepter, and they knelt mockingly before him, saying, "Hail, King of the Jews!" They spat on him and struck him with the palm of their hands. One of them took the reed from his hand and struck him on the head with it before they brought him back to Pilate. Jesus' stately appearance had turned into that of a pitiful man, completely covered in blood from the many small superficial wounds. Even though his face revealed that he was in great pain, his expression remained gentle. Pilate led Jesus outside and showed him to the people, saying, "Behold the man. Again I say to you that I have found him not guilty of any crime, and now that he has been scourged, I want to release him." There stood Jesus of Nazareth, dressed in an old purple royal robe, with a crown of thorns piercing his kind forehead. His face was stained with blood, and his figure was bent with pain and sorrow. But nothing could touch the callous hearts of those who were stuck in group formation and victims of intense emotional hatred. This sight sent a shudder through the heavenly realms, but it did not move the hearts of those determined to destroy Jesus. When they saw him, they only cried out louder and longer, "Crucify him! Crucify him!" It now dawned on Pilate that it was useless to appeal to the feelings of compassion he had thought might be present in them. He stepped forward and said, "I see that you are determined that this man must die, but what has he done to deserve the death penalty? Who can make his crime clear to me?" His accusers knew they were winning, and this was the moment to bring out the heavy artillery to give the final push. The high priest Caiaphas himself stepped forward, climbed the steps close to Pilate, and angrily declared, "We have a holy law, and according to that law, this man must die because he has said of himself that he is the Son of God." When Pilate heard this, his heart became even more troubled, not only because of the Jewish authority, but also because he remembered the note from his wife. He was familiar with the Greek mythology about gods descending to earth, and he now trembled at the thought that Jesus might be a divine being. He signaled the crowd to be quiet while he took Jesus by the arm and led him back into the building to question him further. Pilate was now confused by fear, bewildered by superstition, and tormented by the stubbornness of the incited people.